The MVP award is one of the most important, if not the most important award for players to win. Last season, Jokic won the MVP by beating Curry and Embiid. Those three players were the finalists last season. However, the next season is going to be really interesting, since Kawhi and Jamal are expected to miss all or most of the upcoming season. Meanwhile, Klay might come back in the month of December. Welcome back to the channel, it's your boy Gavin, and in this video I'm going to be ranking the top 5 candidates to win the MVP. And I'm also going to say some honorable mentions by the end of the video, so stick around. Plus don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into it. At number 5, I got Luka Doncic. Last season he averaged 27 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds per game. He's been putting up MVP numbers throughout the last 2 seasons. But his team is never able to get enough wins to get a high seed in the West. And the reason behind that is that the Mavs need a second star on their team. It seems that Porzingis ain't it. Also, another problem the team faced was their defense. They had a defensive rating of 111 with Luka on the floor. That's okay. However, their offense was really good with Luka on the floor. They had an offensive rating of 116. That ranked 9th among all guards that played over 30 minutes per game. Also, he had the 3rd best PER among those players, only behind Damian Lillard and Steph and Curry. That already puts him on an elite list. Next, I got Joel Embiid at number 4. Last season, he averaged 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, while actually shooting 37% from 3. That was the 5th best among all centers that played over 50 games last season. He also led the league in usage rate, and while he was on the floor, he drew over 7 fouls per game. That was the 2nd best, only ranking behind Giannis. But there's one thing that will hurt his MVP campaign, and that is Ben Simmons. Can he block out the noise until his situation is settled? He said that he wants to leave the 76ers and that he won't go to training camp. So they already, the 76ers are missing their 2nd best player, which means they'll probably won't win as many games unless he decides to play, or if the 76ers decide to trade him and get another all-star caliber player for him, which will probably not happen since his trade value dropped during the playoffs. Next on the list is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Last season he averaged 28 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal per game. He became the 3rd player to average 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal per game during the whole season. The other 2 players that have done that are Larry and Kareem. Also, Giannis is the only player to do that on multiple seasons. Plus, he's the youngest to ever do so, at just 24 years old. The biggest problem for Giannis is, can he improve his 3-point shot? I know his game is not about shooting threes, but it would help his campaign if he could improve that, since he already is one of the best 2-way players in the league, if not the best in the NBA. Giannis also had the 3rd best PER last season. The only 2 players that were ahead of him were Nikola Jokic, who actually won the MVP, and Joel Embiid, who was one of the finalists. Next, I got Kevin Durant. Last season, he averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. And that was while playing next to 2 other superstars. KD played 5 games when Kyrie and Harden didn't play, and he went off those games, averaging 33 points while shooting 62% from the field. But the biggest problem that KD faced last season, and not just him, a lot of players that were in the MVP conversation like Lebron and Joel Embiid faced this, and it was missing a lot of games due to injuries. KD only played 35 games last season. If he can play at least 70 games next season and can put up those numbers again, he has a good chance to win the MVP. However, there's one player that I feel has all the momentum and the upside for him to win the MVP, and that player is Steph Curry. Last season, he averaged 32 points, which was a league best, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists while having no help. While Curry was on the floor, the Warriors had an offensive rating of 114, But while Curry was off the floor, the Warriors were one of the worst offensive teams in the league with an offensive rating of 101. Last season, the Warriors won 39 games and lost 33 games, which gave them the 9th seed in a packed Western Conference, and he still ended up as a finalist for the MVP award. But like I said before, there's a lot of players that are going to be missing a lot of games due to injuries. So I feel like with their new additions the Warriors got, plus Jordan Poole and James Wiseman getting better and Klay soon to be back, the Warriors will end up with the 3rd seed in the West. And if I remember correctly, Jokic led the Nuggets to the 3rd seed and he won the MVP. So if Steph can average those numbers again like last season, there's no question he will end up winning the MVP. So now that I have said who are my top 5 candidates, I'm gonna give 3 honorable mentions, and the list can always change because nobody can predict what happens in the NBA. I feel like Damian Lillard can make a good campaign, but it's always the same with him. His team wins a lot of games but can never win enough games to get a high seed. They always end up with like a 5th or 6th seed in the West, and I feel like that's going to happen again with the Portland Trail Blazers. Another honorable mention is Jokic, and of course he deserves to be in this list because he actually won the MVP last season. But since Jamal will miss the whole season, the Nuggets won't win a lot of games, and that's going to hurt his MVP campaign. I know that he can lead them probably to the 6th seed in the West, but I do not expect the Nuggets to make it any higher than that. And my last honorable mention is Donovan Mitchell. I know no one expects him to win the MVP, but last season, the Jazz actually ended the season with the best record in the league, and he actually put up great numbers, averaging 26 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. So if he can put up those numbers and the Jazz ended up with the best record again, he has a really good chance to crack the top 5 or even be a finalist. He deserves to get some respect. I'm pretty sure some of you are thinking, where's LeBron James? Why isn't he in the top 5 or even an honorable mention? But I'm sorry to say, LeBron James is not winning the MVP next season. And maybe he could make it to the top 5, but because he's going to be playing alongside Westbrook and Davis, that's going to hurt his MVP campaign. And that means that his numbers are going to drop. But let me know down in the comment section if another player deserves to be in this list, or if somebody needs to be ranked higher, or if LeBron actually deserves to be in this list, and just tell me why. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy what I said. Till next time.